invite you to
and
Solomon
you know how
Brothers
Joe Ham
Fine
is with
Jewelry
technology.
Annual
So if Joe Ham can
Percentage
figure
Week.
it out.
You get it, Annual Percentage Week. We do this every
Well, he
year,
got his,
and it's where you save a whole
loves his,
lot of money. It's going on September
got
the
an
9th
iWatch.
through the
What do you
15th,
call
where
it?
for
Apple
1 week
Watch.
only, every
doing?
piece of jewelry in the
Stream is
store
up.
is up to
Yay.
60%
All right.
off.
Hey,
So
my
help them clear
stream.
out their
We're
inventory.
here.
They're preparing
Hello.
for some really cool
Hey,
stuff
Mike.
in that showroom, renovations,
Derek, you're pitting
expansions,
out
you
over there,
name it.
buddy.
There are great deals on engagement
So, to be
rings,
clear,
wedding
Murph,
bands,
we are
all
ending
the
the show
designer jewelry,
regularly at
all of it up to
55.56.
40% off. You're also going to
Yeah, I'll get that to you as we get closer.
Okay.
bracelets, 50%
What do you need from
off
us?
while
You
you're
need the
shopping
Joe
for the
Ham
best
thing?
deals of the year. Be sure
And
to
then are we
enter
done?
Joe Ham, Fifth Third, and a sports and social at some point this hour.
I will get you your sports and
and
social coming
jewelry.
back here.
You don't want to miss the Solomon Brothers Percentage Week. It's going on September the 9th
They know
through
we're
the
only on the air
15th.
for like
It's
an
Solomon
hour
Brothers
and
Fine
45
Jewelry,
minutes,
17th
right?
floor tower.
I know.
For info, RSVP, go to solomonbrothers.com.
Hello, stream.
Saturday strong.
Hey, y'all.
With good news
Get in your
Saturday
car.
on Fox.
Stream it.
No, don't stream in your car.
Yes, you can listen to the audio and then look down.
That's illegal, home team.
No, you can touch it one time.
One time.
You get one touch on your phone.
One time. Everybody knows the rules.
I touch it more than one time.
Black Knight's daunting ground and pound attack.
Touch it once, you're fine.
Touch it.
Pre-game
Okay,
show
touch it
at
once,
11.
you're fine.
And
That's
then
the
it's
Georgia
Army,
law. If you touch it
Michigan.
once, you're
All
fine.
part
right.
of Big Noon Saturday.
Touch it
on
more than
Fox.
once.
Touch it twice, you're okay.
Touch it 3
This is
times.
Xander with the
you're
painting
playing
company of
with
Atlanta,
yourself.
and right now you're probably
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Okay. Was that
for
Blink
the
182?
inside or
Who
the
was that?
outside of your home. Use a new coat of paint.
No, wait,
We'll
that
take a
was
look
that
at your
one.
house and then call
See,
the
I always
painting
have a hard
company of
time figuring
Atlanta.
out how to
Skip
bring
the
up
stress
the-
and the mess and
If we
hire
don't
a
get to that today, that was a
because the
perfect
painting
topic.
company of
You
Atlanta
with your
always
USC.
goes the
And
extra
Urban
mile to
Meyer.
make our
Oh, dude, that's
customers
evergreen.
locally
Save it.
owned,
Save it.
Let's
and
say
the
that for next week.
consultation and
Give
estimate
Slytherin
are
back
always
over.
free. Check us out at
That's
AtlantaPaintingCompany.com
evergreen
and make
as
sure
hell,
to
man.
ask for the fan family
he's
discount
gonna-
when you call. The painting
He's
company
gonna
of
take it,
Atlanta.
too.
The
Yeah.
painters
They're gonna
you
pay
can
him.
trust.
They're
Hey
going
guys,
to
Chris
pay
D'Elia
him
for
Dabo
Central
money.
Heating and Air. What a hot summer it's been. Boy, it started early
Resurrect
and
the
it doesn't seem to
program.
want to end. And you know what that means? If your HVAC
Which
system
then
had a
he'll
hard
have
time
3
keeping up,
titles
it's
at 3
probably not going
different
to get any better
programs. He
this
can win.
winter. If you want to
Did
improve
they
your
give him
comfort,
one at
visit
Utah?
us at
Did he win like an
centralheat.com
AP
for
title
very
or
products
something?
and warranties.
No?
They are one of the
I do
few
not know
second-generation locally owned HVAC companies in Atlanta. That's rare
He
and
can
hard
coach
to
now.
find.
He
With
can coach.
Central, you're not just a number, you're a member of the family. It's been
Oh,
that
is
way
that on the
since
stream? My bad.
1947, and
Whatever.
it's still that way today. Give Central a call
I
at
was doing a podcast
770-GET-HEAT,
last week with the Saturday Night
770-GET-HEAT.
South
Turn to
guys,
Central, your
and I was
Atlanta
just
carrier
railing
experts.
on Urban.
King here,
Podcast,
and
so
I
say
have been
whatever you
spreading
want.
the good news for over a decade
But then
now
they
of how
stopped the
awesome
podcast,
my
and
real
they're like,
estate
hang on.
expert Rhonda Duffy and Duffy Realty is at
His
selling
daughter that
homes.
goes to Georgia
Rhonda
Tech
sold
is
3
apparently
of my
friends with them,
homes
and
and
she
saved
listens.
me nearly
And so does Shelley Myers, and I was
that's
like,
take home. That's cash in
okay,
my pocket.
I don't
What is that?
care.
$50,000
I don't know either of
Are they gonna
them.
call in?
income?
I
Thank
don't
you,
know either of
Rhonda.
them.
And the way Rhonda has done
You could
this
have
year
Urban
after
call in
year
and talk
is
to me,
simple.
then.
Duffy flexibility. The money you save by being charged only
Los, his Florida Gators
$500
team
and then
killed how many
3/4
people?
of 1% when it's sold. It allows
more
more
than,
money to stay in the deal
more than
and makes for a
Ebola. More
than
quicker
Ebola.
win-win
Hey.
for you and your buyer, and
That
it
puts it
gets
in
a deal
perspective, doesn't
done.
help.
Secondly, Rhonda and her team at
We had
Duffy
the
Experts
CDC
by
working on a
Specialty
cure for
wrote the
Ebola
book on
when they
what it
should have been
takes to
working on a
sell
cure for Urban
successfully.
Meyer.
And third,
Gator.
well,
For
Gator.
your part's easy. Since Duffy does it all, you get to sit back, relax, and count all that extra money that you
Go
worked for in the
Gator.
first. Because
Do you think they just like put earmuffs on Tim Tebow
Y'all.
and like turn him
Somebody
around
just has
so
to
he
come
couldn't
over
see or
to get
hear?
some Murray State,
Dude,
Georgia.
They literally just. You got Tebow in the locker room and washes
If your company
everything clean.
seeks
You know how
to be a
Jesus
great
died for the
place
sins
to
of
work,
everybody?
listen
Tebow
up. For
played
your next
for the
event,
sins of
have
that
Southern
entire
Wash away.
Crust
team.
Catering
They washed
handle
away
all
all
your
of it.
food and
Programs,
beverage.
that's a good point.
Treat your staff to
I
the
can't
best
find the
wood-fired
chat portion of
Neapolitan pizza in the city, served from a beautiful 1953 vintage truck. Talk about taste. Southern
Home team, you
Crust
text and
took
drive?
home both taste awards in
I
a
will
recent
say
Mace
I have
catering
gotten
competition,
better.
and their
I
testimonials will
am a
blow you
I
away.
was a
Upcoming
notorious
corporate event,
texter and
treat
driver.
your team to
What I've done
Southern
is I
Crust
just use
Catering.
Siri.
Breakfast,
So the
lunch,
phone's there.
dinner,
I just
company
hate Siri.
social,
And just use Siri to do it.
SouthernCrustCatering.com.
680
the
The
law
Fan,
has
college football
changed my
sports page.
Actually, I look over and see people texting all the time.
Good
I don't
morning,
think the law
Atlanta.
changed.
I'm Brian
know who I
Murphy
see
with the
older.
Georgia United
Yeah, I see
Credit
like people in
Union
their 60s
scoreboard. Big
texting.
games
And those are the ones
nationally.
that scare me because
This
I can
afternoon,
text
Texas
without
A&M,
looking down
number
at my
12 in
phone.
the country
Like I
at
can look
number
at you
one
right now and
Clemson.
text you whatever
I'm
you
not
want to
that
do.
at
proficient.
3:30.
But
I
the
can-
old
I can
people
learn.
have to have like both
A top
thumbs and be
10
looking at it
matchup,
like
number
this.
6
And I'm like,
LSU
you don't even really have a
And
hand
number
on the
9
wheel.
Texas square off in Austin at 7:30. And late tonight, number 23 Stanford at USC. With the Georgia United College scoreboard, I'm Brian Murphy, and you're listening to the most powerful voice in sports, The Fan, 680 and 93.7 FM.
680 The Fan's College Football Saturday, powered by Georgia's Own Credit Union. Become one of Georgia's Own now at georgiasown.org. The Fans College Game Day, live from Sports and Social. We've got college scores and stats all afternoon on the college football voice of the South. The Fan, 680 and 93.7 FM.
Welcome back in to College Game Day live from Sports and Social here in the Battery, Atlanta. Home team, Carlos Medina, Brian Hoyt, taking you up till noon. We are getting ourselves set for week 2 of college football action. A couple of NFL nuggets we'll get to, including a nugget that pertains to a guy who wears number 11 in town. We'll get to that. Coming up in about 5 minutes. College kids can do this, but adults certainly better not do it when it comes to college football. We'll get to that. But, Hoyt, you and I agree on this, and I think we're in the minority. I really think we are. When you're talking about Georgia football, there's some Georgia fans that still have a problem with Georgia's offensive philosophy that keeps running all over people, that keeps dominating games, dominating time of possession, getting the team to a point where they can win by attrition at the end of games, getting them to SEC championship games. People think that this team needs to be more like Alabama and Tua just rearing back and throwing it 50 yards down the field, and be more like Trevor Lawrence and just chucking it to be chucking it. I have been, and I will continue to be. Maybe I'll be proved wrong. I don't know how you feel about it. You do what you do. Georgia's recruiting big offensive linemen. They're recruiting the best running back tandems in the country, and you run the ball, and then you run it again.
We went through a phase of Mark Richt and Aaron Murray threw for so many yards, and we threw the ball around and everything else, and you won 0 SEC championships when he was there. Your offensive line looked like a 3- and 4-star offensive line with guys like John Theus, who never panned out to be 5-star guys, or you're bringing in guys from Rhode Island to play tackle over here. Now you're at a point, and I heard that entire time from Georgia fans, we need to be more like Bama. We need to run the ball. We're Georgia. We need to pound our chest and yada, yada. And now that we are, and now that we have 5 stars all across this line, and you've got just a sled of running backs back there with Zeus or Swift or Cook or Harrion or McIntosh, everybody back there. Now you don't think it's sexy and you want to throw the ball around the yard? Like to me, sexy is imposing your will on somebody, making them quit.
Preach, Pastor Hoyt.
And
Preach.
that's what Kirby loves to do. But then I hear this group of people that see Justin Fields go for 300 yards and 100 on the ground, or Easton go for 400 yards, or Hurts do what he did. That ain't us, and that's okay. That ain't got to be us. That's not what we recruited. That's not what Kirby wants to do.
And ultimately, there's something fun about just being able to destroy someone's will with their inability to handle men up front. I've said this to Joe Ham. I've said this a number of different times. When you watch Oklahoma play football, you can't be cute and open and fun and everything offensively and then be rugged defensively. It just does. The mentality of what you are offensively permeates throughout a program in college football. And if you're tough up front and you look to beat on people offensively, it tends to be much easier to do that defensively as well. Alabama, Nick Saban even made it a point. We need to be more tougher up front. He's going back to a maul you style on offense, because last year was fun, but when you got into the biggest game against Clemson, they couldn't maul. That was not their MO anymore.
The Dogs are scoring 38 points a game against everybody. The Dogs are going to SEC title games. The Dogs are making Bama switch out quarterbacks in the first half of games multiple times.
Preach.
There's nothing wrong with their philosophy. There's nothing wrong with Jake Fromm. There's nothing wrong with their style of play. Certainly with Coley coming in, you might see some things that are done a little bit differently that might be able to help you throw to some leads earlier in games, but you don't have to change the philosophy of scoring 38 and running all over everybody.
You bring up what's different. And I will tell you this, the foundation of this program will always be running the football behind an awesome offensive line and with a number of talented backs and picking up those yards. But what Coley showed against Vanderbilt and the versatility by which they attacked Vanderbilt, you got to be paying attention to this sort of stuff. First off.
Yeah, but Los, he didn't throw for 400 yards. He only threw for $160.
First off.
That doggone Coley, he's just like more of the same, Los.
James Cook was lined up in the Percy Harvin role. He played the Percy Harvin role all over the field. Now, if you don't know who Percy Harvin is, he was a player for Urban Meyer, a former first-round pick out of Florida, where is Percy a receiver? Is he a runner? Where is he lining up? What is he doing? That was the kind of role that James Cook was playing, and they were using him to dictate what they wanted the defense to do. He also was taking the 2 tight end set, which under Chaney was very basic. It was 2 tight ends, right on the line of scrimmage, let's go play. Coley had them lined up as receivers or even in the slot. He was dictating to the defense different options. And the cool part about all of this, after going through film study, it put it on Jake Fromm to go pick out the best matchup you want to attack. And so when people wondered why did he have such a high rating from Pro Football Focus for 176 yards, it's because every single play he went to the right situation. That's what they're asking him to do, not be the guy who – let me threaten the defense a little bit with my legs and hit the wide-open receiver against FAU. They want him to be the tactician back there, and that's what you get with him.
What does home team have in his hand, by the way?
He got a note card.
That's an index card, dog. I have not seen one of those since high school.
I'm going to get this laminated, and when I meet Jake Fromm, I'm going to hand it to him because it should be his business card. I proffer Pastor Hoyt. Jake Fromm hadn't lost a game.
Preach.
He's undefeated.
Preach.
As the quarterback of the Georgia Bulldogs. You can say, wait. Quarterback gets all the love. You got to give him some of the
quarterbacks have win-loss records
for the losses too. I say no. He is not the reason. He had a couple of games where he wasn't lights out, but the games that the Georgia Bulldogs have lost with Jake Fromm as the trigger man, which totals 5, there are common denominators. Defense couldn't come up with a big stop. Kirby Smart with a questionable coaching decision. Or how about when you play Auburn and they rush for 237 yards? Or how about when you play LSU, hold on, let me clear my throat, and they rush for 275 yards rushing. What, Jake Fromm's supposed to play strong safety now? Let's give this man, let's give Kirby Smart, let's give the coaching staff, and let's give this identity the credit it deserves. It is working. Leave it alone.
When you look at Kirby Smart, since 2017, Georgia under his reign is 25-5. They're 25-0 when they outrush the opponent. They're 0-5 when they lose the rushing game. It's that simple. You heard Kirby talk about it on his interview with the Front Row this week when he was asked, what do you have to say about Jake when he compares to guys like Justin Fields or Jacob Eason and whatnot and what they're doing out there? And he said, my quarterback wins. And at the end of the day, that's all I care about. That's what I don't get about the Georgia fan. Numbers don't matter. Are you winning the damn game?
Right.
Like why are we playing this?
There's a lot of empty calories
right now.
And not to knock Aaron Murray, although Hoyt would love to.
Don't do that.
Those 300-yard games, that's a lot of empty calories.
See, now you agree with me.
Now you agree. Don't do that. Aaron Murray did his job.
But that is the case with the university. That is the case with a program that, hey, guess what? I went out and I put up 500 yards of total offense. We got beat. Ultimately, nobody cares about what you did from that standpoint. Did you win or did you lose it? And that's where guys like A.J. McCarron. A.J. McCarron was boring. Greg McElroy was boring.
What did they have, though? What's the common
I think it's rhymes with Rampion Rip.
Yeah.
Oh.
They have a ring.
Yeah.
They have national championship. And ultimately, that flag flies forever when you're in the stadium and you go, hey, 2012, that's me. Hey, and you just walk right through all of them when you're in Tuscaloosa.
But you already saw it, Hoyt, and it was week 1, and you were spot on about not overreacting. Justin Fields comes out. He got 5 touchdowns. He's got 4 touchdowns in the first half. And folks start going crazy. How come we can't open up the offense for the Dogs' offense like they're doing for him at Ohio State?
Because it's lazy. It's not easy. I heard a lot of people say it's easy to make the comparison. No, it's lazy to make the comparison. If you really want to look at who's going to be the number 1 drafted player next year, Trevor Lawrence. What were his numbers against Georgia Tech? He didn't go out there and light it up either. You don't have to. Seth Emerson had a great piece in The Athletic this week talking about if Fromm wanted to, he would put up these numbers. But his job is when he looks at the box, where are my numbers? Where's my advantage? I'm going to put this team in the best position every single snap.
And I think that's what the NFL is so interested in. It's that it's not the over-the-top athlete because Fromm does everything well. He doesn't do any one thing where you go, wow, that's a cannon of an arm. That's a guy that can run. But from a mental standpoint, September 7th, get me on the field. Week 1, you're ready to play and put me in a position to win. He's more ready to do that than anybody else because the mental end of the football game for him.
How hardcore are you, Georgia fans? 2 pairs of tickets for today's game. today in Athens. We have them at Sports and Social. All you have to do is come by, say hello to Hoyt, Los, and myself. You walk out of here with the tickets. All you have to do is come and get them, and then you ride right up the road. We also have some other tickets that we're going to be giving away later this season, Los.
There's so many cool things that go on at Sports and Social. I've done the last two Georgia SEC championship games here. Sports and Social inside live at the Battery is your college game day headquarters.
You did one of them really hard.
Yes, I did. You found me. We'll be broadcasting live from Sports and Social every single Saturday, all season long. You can register for a conference championship game day experience that includes a pregame at Sports and Social, transportation to 680 The Fan's championship tailgate party. We've done that before. And 2 tickets to the championship game at the Benz on December 7th. They're also giving away a VIP table at Sports and Social for the conference championship with a $2,000 tab. Stay tuned for registration details.
I think it's a case where hold on and you're going to get what you've been looking for a long time if you are a Georgia Bulldog fan. 404-231-1680. 404-231-1680, the number to sign on and sign in to this conversation. Would you like to be a part of it? Call on in. Let's go out to the phones. Let's talk to Tom. Tom, thank you for calling us here on College Game Day.
Tom.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. I've been a Georgia fan for a long time. Played, played freshman.
All you, Tom. You got the conch.
Yeah, I got the thing that I don't understand in your logic there. Other teams, when they're in your league there, when they're about on the equal footing, they can shut down the run. You can try to run the ball, but they can shut it down if they just put all their resources into, stacking the box, just whatever they need to do. And your passing game's got to come through. Now, Fromm's had some good games, but he's had some games where he just didn't have the goods there and couldn't win the game in the second half. LSU's a perfect example.
Tell him, may I counter you with this? Have you ever looked at his numbers for either Alabama game? Because Alabama spent all the resources to stop the Georgia run, and Fromm put up numbers where you should have beaten Alabama.
Not in the second half.
Man threw for 301 yards and 3 touchdowns, no picks against Alabama in the SEC championship
say
game.
that one again.
The man threw for 301 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions against Nick Saban's defense in the SEC championship game, and the Dogs lost. It's not the quarterback's fault.
I get where Tom's coming from, but here's the thing. Let's keep in mind
Thanks for the call, Tom.
We had double-digit leads in the second half in both those games, and what was Chaney's MO to do? He wanted to physically try to pound the ball and run that clock, and when you're not doing it, when they're stacking the box and on first and second down, and now Fromm's looking at a 3rd and 9 every time, and you're predictable. Fromm's not great when you're predictable. He's not. I'll just be honest. He's not that guy.
That's fair.
But on first and second down is when I want you to get me into 3rd down short yardage plays,
Kevin.
which is what he's great at doing, which is what, when you look at that first half against Alabama in both games, he threw the ball around when it was called upon him.
Championship game, 232 yards and a touchdown. I mean, are we going to be mature enough to blame Coach Smart? Can we just say right now he's done a great job coming out of the gate, but Kirby Smart and his defense is the reason why the Dogs haven't won yet.
Give me the rushing yards against LSU that LSU had in that game, by the way.
LSU had, I have to clear my throat to say it, 275 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns against the Dog defense.
Find a team in college football that's going to overcome that deficit. It doesn't happen. I don't care who your quarterback is at that moment in time. You're not winning a game when a team rushes for 275 on you.
The only one I can even ponder was Patrick Mahomes against Arizona State. And even then, I still think they got beat. But, yeah, that's about it. I'm going to look at those numbers.
I just think it's a situation where it's I understand why people say, why aren't we as dynamic? If Alabama can do it, if Trevor Lawrence can do it, they're the ones in the college football playoff championship games. Why not Georgia too? I'm just saying you have a quarterback. Look, Jake Fromm may not be the athlete or have the arm that Justin Fields have. He may not have the numbers that you're going to see Jacob Eason put up. He is a quarterback who wins games and makes the right decisions
Who
with the
works
football.
best in this system? It's Jake Fromm. Those 2 guys you just mentioned had a chance to beat Fromm. Guess what? They're not here because they
didn't.
lost.
Thank you. Danny, you're up next. Thank you for calling us here on the Fan, 680, 93.7 FM.
Hey guys, Jake Fromm didn't lose the SEC championship game. Kirby Smart did on the dumbest play call I've ever seen on the fake punt. And point number 2, then you can hammer me. is Jake Fromm did not play well against LSU last year, and that was Justin Fields' chance, and they left him on the bench, and I say that's when he said, I'm leaving the program. So Kirby Smart is the wrongdoer, not Jake Fromm.
Thanks for the call. That's what I'm saying. It's okay to criticize your coach when it is warranted. Kirby Smart has had some situations.
Yeah, he has.
Where his decisions have cost the team a win.
He has. Ultimately, how does that shine on Fromm? That like what does that take off of Fromm? Thank you.
Nothing. Has nothing to do, in my opinion. I like Jake Fromm. He's the right quarterback for the system. I don't care. Oh, by the way, he did throw more than 30 touchdowns last year. For those who think he's just handing it off, student body left, student body right, the man did throw more than 30 touchdowns last year.
I need my quarterback to just keep me in the right scenario all the time. And that's what he does.
We're in this era of people are just obsessed with Madden and numbers and fantasy
Yeah, you're right.
They're stat crazy.
Yep, that's all it is.
College kids can do this. Adults better not do it. I don't know if you guys saw this. It used to be funny, but it's not. Some kids got a hold of Sam Ellinger's numbers, and they leaked his phone number
I called
online.
it yesterday.
And oh, God.
I called it yesterday
Now,
just to see.
I heard from another fan who told me the same thing.
This is funny amongst the college student body. Adults should stay out of this kind of stuff. I mean, he is a young man. He is a public figure. But come now, things are a little bit different in 2019.
I'm going to see if I can find the message that I got from last night where I was told this by somebody whose family went to LSU. And their deal was they made fun of his dad who's passed away.
See?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
I didn't do that.
They found the number to the Texas quarterback and have been harassing him all day long about the game / his dad dying.
Okay,
Where's Dad at?
Let's be better human beings.
Sorry, Mooney. Yeah.
We all want our teams.
Let's be a little bit better
Our
than that.
teams, we want all of our teams to win. We want a competitive advantage. Let's be decent human beings.
You're talking about LSU fans. That's a different level, home team.
But you're not LSU. What did you say? Did you leave a message?
Oh no, I just called because I wanted to see if it worked. Like I remember, it went to a mailbox that was full. I just remember maybe it was like 5 years ago. Jim Tressel started teaching at some college or whatever, and he put his number up on the board as a teacher because that's what you do. But someone posted a picture of it, and it was his actual personal cell phone number. So I remember being in the studio with Los, and I called it. Hey, you've reached the office of Jim Tressel, and I just called it up. I'm gonna give it a shot.
He enjoys that.
Well, I think it's it's sad when you're doing stuff personally. You're doing stuff that's beyond just gamesmanship.
It's funny.
What you may have
You
done.
might have found it
I'll
funny.
give out home team's number right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't
You don't need to do that.
because then it won't be funny.
You remember now Chuck Oliver in the big scheme of things in comparison to some of these guys is not a factor. It's a nobody. The rest of us would be the same way.
That's the king of college football you're talking
He
about.
had the burner phone.
Yes,
and
he
that,
did.
And that thing got blown up where people were calling him at all hours to talk to him about college football.
Home team doesn't know about this.
I
Look at
don't
his
know
face.
this
He
story.
does not know this.
So Chuck Oliver, this was probably, about 4 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
3-4 years ago, had the idea that he wanted to buy a burner phone that was strictly so whenever you called it, you got Chuck, and he would talk to you about college football or anything else you wanted to bring up. And this was his great idea. We kept telling him, no, you don't want to do this. He had that burner phone for about 2 to 3 weeks before it whooped his butt so bad from all the phone calls he was getting and just at hours. Like, it would ring during the show, and Chuck would answer it on the show just to prove to people that he was answering that phone.
404-368-5517. That was Chuck's burner phone. Still in my
Hey,
phone.
you still have it as
to this Chuck's burner or
one of
King's
your
burner
contacts.
phone.
King burner phone.
The burner phone.
I got into it with Finn one time on Twitter.
Oh, imagine that. You got into it with somebody on Twitter.
I know. But I got into it with him, and I gave my number. I gave my number out on Twitter. I was a little intoxicated. But I didn't give the area code, thinking, like, no one will call me. Finn retweets my post, but gives my area code. So I spent the next 3 hours drunk just talking to people on the phone about college football. You guys are really going to make me do a read, aren't you?
Yes.
The guy that can't read is going to do a read.
So excited.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
You guys can join Georgia Tech quarterback and Super Bowl champion. I sound like home team right now.
Too animated right now. He's too animated.
Joe Hamilton, the fan at the Marathon Station off Lee Road in Lithonia Springs this Tuesday from 1 to 3 p.m.
Good cadence. Good cadence.
Yep. Yeah. Better.
Joe will be on hand to say hello take photos, and hand out passes to the fans. Upcoming Dirty Bird tailgate happening this Sunday before the Birds battle Philadelphia.
You're making Joe sound like some sort of idiot. Just the answer. He's like, hello.
Yeah.
Be there this Tuesday, September 10th, between 1 and 3 at the Marathon off Lee Road in Lithonia Springs for your chance to meet Super Bowl legend, it says legend, Joe Hamilton.
That's right.
Special
Yes.
thanks to Marathon, proud supporter of the Fans Tailgate Series.
Do you have a Super Bowl ring?
Do you have your name on a building?
Because Joe has a Super Bowl ring.
Please.
His name, Joe Hamilton, is always in downtown Atlanta. His name is on the building that Bobby died, and he's always on the second floor of the College Football Hall of Fame.
Los, what do I say about me and Joe Ham? What do we have in common?
You both don't have a Heisman.
We both don't have a Heisman.
See, that's disrespect that I'm not going to tolerate. When we get back, while the world has run out of Popeye's chicken sandwiches, it's also run out of this. And this could be bad for Hoyt and some of the women in this town.
The white women.
We'll get to that. He's Hoyt.
Hey, where are the white women at?
Los at Home Team. College Game Day, live from Sports and Social here in the Battery, Atlanta. Here on the Fan, 680, 93.7 FM.
Are we done with Reed?
The Fan brings you every Braves game
Murph,
live.
you need to put a star
every
next
night.
to
What do we owe you,
And we're
Murph?
on
I killed
40-40
that.
watch for Ronald Acuna Jr.
Rio pitch.
Yeah.
We just need the Fifth Third
Fifth
Bank.
Third?
That's more
KSU.
typical.
Stop by Joe Ham and say hello.
Hello. It's not like your level lawns read, where, again, your hostage read.
3-0 pitch and
Level
lined it
lawns.
into
All right,
the
we'll do
top
this.
half.
We'll mention
have
Julio Jones.
37
Steele is
RBI,
near.
93.
Oh, is it done?
When the kid
Yes,
joins
they are
the
thank-
club,
even
the Falcons
you'll
say
hear
they're
it live
finalizing
on
it.
the home of the
Alright.
Braves. The Fan 680 and 90.
So yeah, the Fifth Third Bank and KSU, and
Okay.
then out at 11:55.
All right, so we'll come back.
Control at your
I'll
home
hit
and
the
this new
read quickly.
technology from
We'll fart
Termador,
around with the
hydraulic
funny story.
injections. We've
We'll
always
talk
believed
about
in
Julio
protecting our
quickly, and
clients
then
with
we'll
the
be
best
gone.
product on the market. That's Termador.
Gone.
The termite game with hydraulic injections. We
What
use
is
the
on after
same
us?
amount of active ingredient we
Georgia Tech.
Oh, it is over here. Am I thinking of
trenching.
next
The
week?
machine actually
Yeah,
pushes the
next
active
week. Yeah,
ingredient
Georgia
into
Tech's
the
here on
soil
the
at
fan.
4
Georgia
It's the
Tech on the
flagship.
fan. Kennesaw State on
Good.
the X.
Yeah.
But next week it's
pumping
on the
hundreds
X.
of gallons.
Tech is on the X.
Safer for
Sure.
It's a
Only if a Georgia.
no-brainer.
The
It
only
sounds
thing
like
that
the
Georgia
hydraulic
Tech is
system
Braves.
takes the
What time did it break?
human
Oh,
error
yeah.
factor completely
Yeah,
out of the
Braves on-
That's why we go to
With the
like
digital onboard
noon
computer,
to
you
12
get to see
or
the
2:55
exact amount
next
of
week.
product
Yeah,
we
we got that
used.
later.
It's science and technology that
Hey,
makes
Derek.
the job easier for the technician. It's the biggest game
Derek,
changer the
zooming
termite
in.
industry has
You don't
seen in
actually
a
have to pick up the
lifetime.
camera
When
to
it comes to
zoom in,
protecting
Derek.
my home from termites, I want the best. That's why I'm protected
I
by
learned
the
that
best,
at
and that's
college.
Breda. Make the switch now to Breda Pest Management.
My
Online at
mama paid for that if she
BredaPest.com.
didn't pay for
So
that.
let's see.
Oh,
Call center
dang it.
worker, extension cord salesman.
Home
yeah,
team,
that was
can
a
I
real
ask a
thing.
terrible
Credit
question?
card
Sure, there are no
collections.
questions
Yeah,
you
these
truly
are all
don't
jobs
know the
that I
answers. There's no
had
bad
and
questions.
hated
You went to
before I went to the
Morehouse?
Connecticut
He's a
School
Morehouse
of
man.
Broadcasting. Hey,
You ever
it's
go
Rob
back for any
Jenners,
game?
production director
Yes.
here at
I don't
the
go back
Fan.
to
I am
many
a graduate
because
of the Connecticut School of
well, for the
Broadcasting.
last-
There's a
before
campus
last-
right here in
last
Atlanta,
years I
and
was
their
doing
broadcast
Georgia
media
State.
program teaches
So
pretty much
I was
everything.
always working
Audio
on
and video
Saturdays.
production. So if
Could
you
I
want to
go
do
to
a
a game
podcast,
with you?
or you're a
Yeah.
YouTuber, or you want to start a Twitch
But I
channel,
want
or if
like
you
the
wanna get
Morehouse
into
experience,
TV
if that makes
sports
sense.
I want you to
broadcasting.
understand this.
It's
This
all
is what
there
a
for you
lot
at
of
the Connecticut School of
people-
Broadcasting.
It's not about
Learn
the
white
by
people
doing
and
from
black people
industry
understand.
pros that are working
Historically
in
black
radio, TV, digital
college
media,
university does not mean
podcasting. Right now,
exclusively.
look, I used
Yeah.
to hate
I had a-
getting
I
up
had
and
a
going
friend
to
of
work
mine.
and doing any one of those other
that's
jobs.
HBC,
Here,
is that what-
we joke every day that we get to
HBCU.
play
Yeah.
radio.
You're not
Set up a
banned. It's
studio
not
tour at the
black
Connecticut School of
folks only.
Broadcasting and
Yeah.
check it
Yeah,
out.
you come
Just
to the
visit
game. Why not? What you should do is come to a
GoCSB.com for
basketball
more
game.
information.
Is that
That's
more fun?
Yeah, our football team
GoCSB.com.
sees the
Day and
problem.
evening classes start in November.
HBCUs
So here's your chance.
used to have really good players. You look at, you know,
when the Braves score,
from
you
the
score
80s
at
back,
Express Oil Change
Walter
and
Paytons
Tire
and
Engineers.
Deacon
Again
Joneses.
this season, when the Braves
Everybody
score
had to
5
go
or more
to
runs,
the better
you get
players
a
would take
$1 off an oil
HBCUs,
change for
fast
every run
integration,
they score, and you can
and,
take
you know,
advantage the day after the
the
game.
country
For more
changed.
details
The
and
good
to find a
players start going
location
to
near
the,
you, visit
predominant,
expressoil.com.
traditionally
Do
white
you know that
universities.
most
So
people describe
football
remodeling as
has
stressful?
used to be good,
Does
and now
that
it's
sound
not
like your
because Todd
experience?
Gurley won't
Hi,
go to
this
Morehouse.
is
He'll go
Candace
to
from
Georgia.
Excavations.
Yeah, I mean, what your last
I got
big
a tip
HBCU
for
star
you.
probably Steve
With
McNair.
Excavations as
Yes.
your partner,
Yeah, probably
you'll
early
get a
90s. Steve McNair was probably the last
completely
guy where
different
everybody
experience.
watched Alcorn
How?
State games
Well,
because Steve
besides
Jerry
covering
Rice.
the very
Yeah,
basics
Rice-
like
Oh,
doing
Jerry?
every
Oh,
time,
yeah.
cleaning
Yeah.
up
Walter
your property
Payton.
each day,
He's a
not
Mississippi
smashing
State
your
guy.
flowers or bushes.
No,
Oh,
Mississippi
and not
Valley.
pressuring
Mississippi
you
Valley.
to
And that's
buy
an
today.
HBCU?
because
Yep.
this
So,
huge
okay.
deal
You know,
expires tonight.
we don't have
also
as
cover
good
the big
of a
things
program,
like a written
but
project schedule, so
always
you
at
know when
HBCU,
workers are coming and
homecoming.
when they're not. A fixed
They
price
could be
quote,
0
so
and 8,
you're guaranteed that
8-0.
what you pay is exactly what you
Homecoming
committed to up
is where you
front.
want to be.
And a
Okay,
design
because you
of what your
understand
home will
every
look like,
white
so you're
person's
not left
idea of what it
guessing
is,
if you're
right?
even
far
gonna
as
like the finished
no,
product.
enlighten me. What do you think?
Streaming, by the way.
Remodeling looks
Drumline.
like, and schedule your free
That's a
quote
part
today
of
The
it.
movie
at
Drumline is how
exovations.com.
part of
every
the
white
experience.
person thinks about it. And so I would love to go just to experience
This is
it,
Sarah Beth
not the
Brown with
movie.
Brownie
Well,
You know what I
Company
mean?
you know
The-
what we ought to go to then?
Would you be
Company
disappointed if it
Ambassador
isn't
Tom
that? And you're
Glavine.
like,
And we were just
I came
talking
here for
all
Drumline.
things
Well, no. So
Where's Nick Cannon?
at Georgia in the student center right there, they had that little facade area where they put your names up when you graduate and everything. But there was one time where they were doing step offs.
Step show?
Where they were they were all doing the step off
So
things,
visit
and I was
Brownie
like,
Company
this
Jewelers
is cool
on
as
Holcomb
shit.
Bridge
Yeah,
Road in
fraternities and
Roswell
sororities
Peachtree
do
Road
those
in
things.
Buckhead.
Okay.
Those are
Online at
within,
brownjewelers.com.
college umbrella. Those are sororities and fraternities. But if you really want to see Drumline, what we ought to do is they have it every year. We go to a battle of the bands.
That's the one that used to be in the dome.
Correct.
BetOnline.net.
Because
From
that is
trades and
something
rookie
that is
draft
unique
picks
to
new coaching
HBCU
staffs.
experience.
You know that
Seasons
he's
to see the Georgia band or the Tennessee band. There's usually certain formations.
Oh, yeah,
they
they're
kind
stupid.
of get a little.
You do know he's really into like musicals and any kind of musical
on your
performance.
laptop or
That's,
mobile device.
That's
Check
well,
out
my
the
wife.
site
My
today.
wife wants to go to
Bring
New
the
York
game
and go see some
home at
plays.
BetOnline.net.
I'll send y'all.
Hey,
That's what he's into.
Dowdle. You know I
And you
like
ain't gotta
earning
worry
extra
about me.
perks. That's why
Yeah.
I love
Although I am
Plus
looking for the
checking
third
account
wife now,
from
home
Georgia's
team.
Own.
Oh, boy.
Get all the features you need from a checking account. Plus, get extra
I like
perks
to my
like
email.
cell
I-
phone
what-
I will have
protection,
every other
roadside
weekend
assistance,
available,
and
though.
more. Open your Perks Plus
What do you
checking
have to
account
offer?
today
Well,
and pay no monthly fee for 90
my wife bought me a car,
And
but
in honor of Georgia's Own Credit Union's 85th
probably take it
anniversary,
back
you
from
could
me.
earn
Yeah.
$85.
But now it's
To
half,
learn
so it
more,
means
visit
half
Georgia's
yours.
Own.
Oh, yeah, she didn't sign a prenup. That was her problem.
Restrictions apply. Offer valid through September 30th. Visit georgiason.org for complete
I'm
details.
done doing reads,
Matt
right? I ain't gotta
Stinchcomb
do
here
another
again
read.
We have one
for
more read. I'm gonna read it coming back.
ASW
Yeah, but it ain't
Distillery.
me.
You know what a lot of folks associate with
That was a
college
good job.
football season?
You were great.
Bourbon.
Thanks,
Especially
baby.
bourbon from
Yes,
Georgia's
your read was
hometown
outstanding.
whiskey
Chuck
distillery,
has
ASW.
got me into
I've
going
known
home and watching
ASW
Ohio
Distillery
State
founders
Cincinnati.
Charlie and Jim since our days at UGA.
Well, I'm gonna
and I
watch it because of
routinely
Justin,
give their
too.
food
There's
and
some-
bourbon
is
as
it a noon
gifts on
game?
my
Yeah,
travels
but
throughout
there's
the
something about
season.
stalking
Head
your
over to
girlfriend
either
on
of
Facebook,
ASW's
like your
Atlanta
ex-girlfriend.
locations in
Who's doing
Buckhead
that?
or in the West
Me.
End for a tour
Why?
and tasting
Justin
of their
Fields.
whiskey and
Oh,
cocktails,
gotcha.
or pick up
But then
filler
also
for
that
tailgates at your local bottle
Cincinnati
shop.
can actually shut them
ASW
down, is what Chuck said in the
delicious
CFT
whiskey
yesterday. I was like,
distilled
all right,
by
I'll give it a
dogs.
shot.
680 The Fan,
your
college football
Saturday?
sports page.
I'm gonna go run one here.
Good morning, Atlanta. I'm Brian Murphy with the
and
Georgia
we're gonna go to
United
Georgia
Credit
State.
Union
Georgia State
scoreboard.
Furman. So
Locally,
Tracy's brother
Georgia Tech
played
hosts
football
South
at
Florida
Furman.
at noon.
He
You
got
can
mad
hear
at
that
us.
right
He was
after
like, oh,
us
we're having a tailgate.
on the
Y'all come
fan.
visit us.
Also
Tracy's
at
like,
noon, Kennesaw
no.
State travels to Kent
We're with
State.
the Panthers.
That game will be on Atlanta Sports X.
why?
UGA and Murray State.
I played there. We're family.
She was like, you played there.
Georgia
She said,
State
I
fresh
went to
off their
Georgia
upset
State.
of Tennessee
He's
with
worked
their
for
home
Georgia
opener
State.
tonight.
Georgia State
They
is our
host
family.
Furman.
You go
You're
sit over there.
listening
We're
to
gonna
those
sit on the
powerful
home
voice
side.
in sports.
She's good
The
people.
Fan,
She's
680,
loyal. You know what that
93.7
means? She's
FM.
loyal.
This is College Football Saturday on 680 The Fan, powered by Georgia's Own Credit Union. College updates
to push
all
the
afternoon.
tech game
The
back.
Fan's College Game
I'm having
Day,
fun.
live from Sports and Social at the
I need more time
Battery
to drink,
Atlanta
too.
on the biggest college football station in the country. The Fan, 680 and 93.7
He
FM.
looked at me and he goes, you want to drink already? And I was like, yes.
Yeah, we're back.
I mean,
Are we?
it's sports and social.
Yeah, we're live from Sports and Social.
Well, no, we're live streaming. We're
Yeah,
not on.
No, we're live on the Fan 680 93.7 FM.
So what did you tell him? Like, yeah.
And I said,
it's-
no, sir, I do not drink when I'm on the air. And so I walked away from the bar.
All right.
Because
had-
I'm responsible.
I had maybe one of the most surreal moments.
Derek, put the camera away.
One of the most surreal moments I've ever had working here. So the unbugged hour yesterday during Chuck and Chernoff when we move over to Sports X.
Right.
We played Jenga on the air, by the way.
And out of nowhere, the door flies open. Oh, yeah. And it's Mr. David Dickey. And I'm like, oh, God. We're all about to hear the riot act that we're playing Jenga on the air. He throws open the studio door.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, the guys are going to get trouble. And he walks right up to the Jenga and starts trying to pull a block.
He's got a great sense of humor.
And then he just left. That was it. And the funny part was Zeno tells him, that tower falls, we all get raises. He got away.
Oh, good. Step back, sir. Get away from that.
I was like, that was the most surreal, funny moment I think I've had, and especially us doing Unbugged since we started doing that.
Stay away. You don't want to stay away from this. Fifth Third Bank announced its new 53-yard drive campaign in partnership with the KSU Owls football team. Fifth Third Bank will donate $100 to the CARE, which is the Campus Awareness Resource and Empowerment Center at Kennesaw State. For every offensive drive of 53 yards or more, up to $5,300, CARE Service offers support to students who have experienced homelessness, food insecurity, Security and or are in the foster care system. That is a great, great thing. Fifth Third Bank is a part of.
He's a real pro.
He's so much better
He's
than
so
I
he's
am.
so much better. Now I will tell you this: if you are interested, outside of coming to Sports and Social, which this place, especially with the noon games, you start warming it up by the 3:30 kickoffs.
Stupid.
This place is just crazy.
Goodness.
And also, if you're looking to trap any young white women, just have yourself a claw.
Speaking of that,
And that'll get it done in here.
Now, I can understand how this affects Hoyt. How does this affect the white women in our community?
Oh,
White Claw hard seltzer out, just like the Popeye chicken sandwich. They've run out.
Shortage.
There's a shortage that's occurred, and this directly impacts you, Hoyt, but you also say it affects the white women in our community and in this country.
Home team, this is like crack for white women.
It's-
You remember
it's
back in
become
the
that.
80s when crack was like the big thing? Like, this is the new crack.
Bartles and James, you remember when that was a thing for young women to get a hold of? And then it was Zima. Okay.
I remember the Zima craze.
White Claw is the newest one of a low-calorie hard seltzer.
And you don't get hung over on it, by the way, because
you're
it's got
hydrating.
this- you're hydrating. It's got the seltzer water in it, home team.
And so as long as you can get yourself some White Claw, you have an opportunity of getting that young
30.
lady back to your place. But you got to store White Claw in your
To
house
watch
right
the
now
game.
because it's shortage.
Yes, just watch the game. What are you talking about, home
Goodness.
team?
Yeah, I'm going to make sure that we're clear.
So
Get
you
them back
got
on to watch the
to
game.
hoard
20.
this stuff down.
White Claw.
White Claw.
Like a prepper. You got to be like a prepper with
They
White Claw.
need to make sure that they get this stuff
There's
restocked.
going to be no women coming to your house unless there's White Claw.
We hopefully have you stocked for your college football Saturday. I want to say thanks to Derek Thomas here on site. I want to say thanks to Brian Murphy. We'll see you next week here on The Fan, 680, 93.7 FM.
Let's go.
See ya.
All right, good
Bye,
job.
Stream.
Here we go.
Bye, Stream.
Let's just stay in stream for an hour.
Just want to keep streaming.
Bye, Derek.
Take
Matt
care, Derek
Stanscombe here
Thomas.
for Engineered Solutions
I got
of
a
Georgia.
soccer match
proud
in 1
partner
hour.
of the Georgia
There you go.
Bulldogs. What should you
Are you
do
a coach?
if you
They
have a
asked me, are you
diagonal?
a
No, no. In
Yeah.